customers.
Try the newest, cheapest, and fastest delivery na express sa service. Introducing Moto Express PH. You can now leave your shopping and delivery needs with us without much exposure and interaction to people outside. Mapa-grocery items, medicines, foods, and other essentials and halal-certified products, kami na ang mamimili at maghahatid sa'yo. Sinisigurado na ligtas, in good and quality condition ang mga pabili o orders sa delivery service na iyong i-avail. Para sa maayos at mabilis na delivery at order mo, ipamoto mo na. Download Moto Express PH app through Google Play that is built to deliver beyond your expectation. Tara na dito sa Moto Express. Dahil moto mo to.
Hello! Once again, it's Sunday. And as we celebrate this International Women's Month, this is only what I can say. Buenos días a todos, señoritos y señoritas, entrepreneur and entrepenor. This is Yo Soy Alex Flores, your host for the next hour. Now, it's going to be a very, very exciting edition once again because we have our special guest who will be discussing with us the significance of the first ever International Sports Management Conference in the Philippines. But before that, let me pave the way for a few minutes of inputs from a lovely girl from Moto Express who stands by the name of Christian. Okay, yes. Talaga naman, kapag sa Global Pinas TV, ang lahat ng mga nagiging guest natin magaganda.
Good afternoon.
Okay, Christian, good afternoon. Hi, how are you?
I'm good po.
It's nice to have you on board.
Yes, thank you.
So I believe on the next couple of minutes, you will share with us something about Moto.
Yes po.
Ano yung magiging topic mo na i-discuss sa amin?
On how to be a merchant partner po.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Yes po.
Kasi alam mo, ngayon maraming naghahanap ng konting sideline, ano? Yung tinatawag nating entrepreneurial partnerships. So
Yes
sige,
po.
go ahead. Paano ba tayo maging merchant partner ng Moto Express?
I'll start na po. Moto Express PH, built to deliver beyond your expectation. A brief introduction about Moto Express. During the pandemic, naging mahigpit ang protocols and nag-lockdown dahil iniiwasan ng face-to-face interaction. And dahil limited na rin ang paggalaw natin. Dahil din sa pandemic, marami ding nawala ng work, especially sa mga restaurant industry. So, dun po nag-start si Moto Express. Hindi na require lumabas yung mga tao pag gusto nila bumili or may need silang ipadala. We can do it online with just one app. And ang Moto Express po ay nag-provide rin ng work, especially ito sa mga riders natin. Moto Express at your service. Moto Express PH is a software product by GT Trillion Software System, OPC. It is a Filipino-owned concierge and ride-sharing service company, offering delivery of good quality groceries, food and medical needs, and booking services for taxis, private cars, and motors, all in just one super mobile app at first in the Philippines. Moto Express services. So, ito ang mga services ng Moto Express. Ride Moto, Transport Moto, Food Moto, Shop Moto, Halal Moto, Delivery Moto, and Med Moto. Sa ngayon, ang active services po natin is Food Moto and ang Delivery Moto. So, ano nga ba ang Ride Moto? Ride Moto will bring you from your pick-up location to your drop-off location. And then Transport Moto is same with the Ride Moto. It will pick you up from your point A to point B. Sa Transport Moto, hindi lang tao ang pwedeng isakay nito. Pwede rin pong mag-rent ng car. Kunyari, gusto niyo pong maglipat bahay, mag-rent lang kayo ng car. And then sa Transport Moto, hindi lang po pwedeng isa ang isakay ninyo. Pwede rin pong more than one. Sa Food Moto naman po, as I said before, ito na po ay available na sa ating services. Food Moto po is pag may gusto po kayong ordering na food with our partner merchant, you can easily order it po and ready for delivery na. Sa mga mahilig mag-grocery, mapapadali na nila ito dahil pwede na nilang gawin through online. Si Moto Express na ang mag-grocery para sa kanila. Halal Moto is ang isa sa unique sa app natin. Dito po natin makikita yung mga certified halal products. Specially made para sa mga kapatid nating Muslim para hindi makontaminate yung food nila and hindi mahaluan ng non-halal products. Delivery motto, dito po natin mapapadeliver yung mga product po such as files, food, mga damit, or anything na gusto natin ipadala to other people. Med motto, lastly, dito po natin mapapadeliver yung mga essential goods po natin such as medicines, vitamins, alcohol, and other essential needs po. Dito sa Motto Express, marami kang options. Pwede kang maging delivery partner, merchant partner, or pwede rin both. How to become a merchant partner or a delivery partner? Sa Motto Express, siguradong tataas ang sales mo. You just have to fill up the form, and then next, provide a government valid IDs, and then provide a business documents such as mayor's permit, DTI, and SEC registration. You also have to provide a business logo, pictures of the stores, and sample of your products and packaging. And lastly, monthly top-up of 1,000 pesos. But in the first 3 months, it is a free trial po. How to log in or register? Install the merchant application, and then after installing, click the Get Started. If you do not have an account yet, just click the register button on below. Step 1, you have to provide your personal details such as phone number, name, email, and your address. For step 2, attach the ID and store logo by clicking Add Image button. For step 3, you have to provide the store details such as merchant name, location, and open and closing time. How to upload menu. First, you go to menu tab and then click Add Category. Once done adding the category, click Add Menu. And then step 4, fill the details of the menu and product and provide the description and price. After providing all the details, you just have to click the Save button. Merchant partner, delivery fee for the first 2 kilometer is only 37 pesos and every succeeding kilometer is 4 pesos. Delivery fee is shouldered by the customer. Why choose Motto Express? First, we are free marketing services. We offer free marketing services. We will promote your brand and business on our social media accounts with no cost. Second, quick responses. And number 3, we have a field operation officer. With Motto Express, we have a field operation officer that monitors our motor riders. Four, cheapest delivery rate. As I said before, a while ago, we have the cheapest rate of 37 base rate. And then for every succeeding kilometers, 8 pesos per kilometer. Merchant app receiving an order. You will receive a ring notification and then you have to click the pop-up notification and you will be redirected to the merchant app. And then you will see the customer details. Delivery partner order process. Click the delivery motto icon in the homepage and then set the pickup and drop-off location. And provide the details of the sender and the receiver name. And then after providing the details, you will see you will find a rider. What our motor rider should have? Our motor rider should have motor jacket, long pants, helmet, covered shoes, alcohol or sanitizer, and raincoat if necessary. Our motor riders should have an insulated box to start. Our riders required to have an insulated box para po ma-secure na ang mga pinapa-deliver nyo na product, food, or anything is hindi mako-contaminate and secured po. So, here's are some partner merchants po. And then, soon, magiging partner na rin po natin ang Mang Inasal, Jollibee, Taps ni Vivian, at Bulaluhan. Ayun po, that's all po. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Christine. One question lang. Since
Yes,
meron
po.
kayong mga competitors na existing ngayon, Christine, ano yung masasabi mong pinaka natatangi o pinaka-unique na selling proposition ng Motto Express? Considering na siyempre, meron na kayong mga existing. Ang unang napansin ko, medyo mababa yung rates ninyo, hindi ba?
Yes po. 37
Bukod doon.
lang. And then, para po sa mga gustong maging merchant, meron po kaming 1,000 lang po monthly and then a free trial po ng 3 months po. Compared po kasi sa other application, meron pa bukod po sa monthly payment po nila, meron pa pong 10% na kukunin dun sa mga merchant partners po. And sa riders naman po, meron po kaming ino-offer na 100 pesos top up and then only ride na po ito.
Okay. So at maganda yung ating kumbaga sa brand, ano? Moto Express PH. So dapat pala kapag kami nagtanong, paano ko pagpapadeliver niyan? Imoto mo o imoto mo ko, imoto mo yan.
Yes po.
Okay, so mabilis, madali ang brand recall. Okay, anyway, thank you. And I believe that the motto is fast becoming a byword, no? Among doon sa mga involved in the business at saka doon sa mga nagpapadeliver. Thank you very much, Christian. And we'll hear again from you next time. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you very
imoto mo
much.
to. Okay, thank you. So, Carl, let's now call on screen. Now, as I have said, for the proper intro dito sa ating thematic approach for our Senor Entreprenor program, we're now on the 21st, which is the third week of the celebration of the International Women's Month. And at this juncture, we've chosen once again to recall or to call back and be with us a friend who was, I believe, about 2 or 3 months ago, one of our guests also. An exciting super lady, kung tatawagin natin, ano, who excels in her chosen sports field, which is that of this rowing team, ano, yung Dragon Boat Racing. Now, briefly, once again, to those who may not have seen our guest, she is our 2005 Southeast Asian double gold, hindi lang isa. Sa unang sali pa lang, ano, for women's Dragon Boat Racing. Ayan. And not only that, she's very much involved in the field, considering that she was once an executive director of the formerly she was with the PSC, the Philippine Sports Commission, and the founder of Sports Philippines, and a very successful entrepreneur being behind this JADGC Holdings. Also, on the private sector, she was once the president also of Parañaque Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI of Parañaque, and sits in the board of PCCI NCR. But again, the second time around, and this is another first for the Philippines and another first for Global Pinas TV, because we are here to share with you what's in store for the forthcoming SWIPS conference, SWIPS International Conference. And this is hosted by Sports for the Philippines, or the Sports Management Council of the Philippines Incorporated. As I have said, this will be the first ever international virtual conference of SWIPS, which is Sports for Women Empowerment and Employment Program. Very, very, very timely. So, without further much ado, I'd like to call on screen our colleague, Dina Bernardo. Dina, hi. Come in.
Hi, good
Yes,
afternoon.
welcome back. Welcome back on the second round. Okay,
Alright,
so as I have said,
nagsasawa.
hindi, lalong-lalo na itong nga pag-uusapan natin ngayon, ano, the first ever virtual conference, very timely, with the month-long celebration of our International Women's Conference. So, without further much ado, let's sweep it out. Tell them what SWIP is all about and what to expect on the 3-day conference, Dina.
Maybe if it's okay, let me start from the beginning as to how SWIP came about. Okay,
Yes.
like you said nga, I was an athlete for the national women's team of Dragon Boat. And so after my athletic stint, after my government stint, nayaya po ako sa isang programa ni Secretary Hillary Clinton, for women sports leaders. And syempre, ang objective ng programang yan um, is to capacitate us as women sports leaders on how we can improve women and girls sport participation back home. So as I was going through that program, parang, shucks, ganito pala. And sad to say, even though nakakaranas po kami ng marginalization, kahit bilang atleta, and even growing up, syempre growing up, they say, oh, ang babae hindi naman bagay sa business. You know, even though we hear those things, parang we felt it was normal. So that's the realization for me. So syempre, pagbalik ko, mula doon, oh yan, I'm committed to help women and girls go through sports. Besides, may mga advantages po when you do that. First of all, women who do sports are less prone to risky behaviors, are more successful in life, diba? They're more confident, they're more resilient. So if you're saying to us that, oh, sports can improve your character, can improve your discipline, so why can't women have the same thing if it's really good for you? So since then po, we've been doing projects for women in sports, iba-iba, volleyball, judo, whatever. Pero may mga malaking kakulangan kaming nakikita, Alex. Kala natin pag pinalaro na natin bata, ginawa na natin trabaho natin eh. No, we know that we have to also teach the teachers, to teach them in the unique aspects, no? But aside from that, we also need the community, the ecosystem to support this child. For example, are there activities that can be made, or how is the policy that can support this? Marami pang kulang. So hindi pala ganun kadali na porke pinalaro mo, nagturo ka naman ng teacher, okay na. Because in some cases, pagbalik ng teacher sa mga schools, hindi naman sinusuporta. So paano yun? Or the parents are not knowledgeable, or they need to be oriented better on why it's important. I can talk more
Ang tanong ko
about
lang
the
dyan,
concept.
Dina, no? Yeah. May tatanong lang ako. So how did the sports program, especially in this era of the pandemic, how did it affect the students or the pupils in general, considering that everything mostly is being done virtual?
Very good question. In fact, if you are a sport-loving Filipino, definitely nung kasagsagan or kaumpisa ng pandemya, then syempre nalungkot tayo. Ako definitely nalungkot ako. Because all of a sudden we cannot play. The athletes are wondering anong gagawin natin, ilan buwan pa ba to? So immediately, as Sport Management Council, naglabas kami ng webinars on how we can help coaches train their athletes during ECQ. Okay, so if you go to my Facebook site, marami kaming ginawang ganon. Ngayon, to the credit naman of the teachers and coaches, they have developed virtual programs online to keep people playing. I mean, sport is also important now because it can help improve your well-being, your mental health, your physical fitness para maiwasan or mag-improve ang immune system natin. So, hindi mo pwede talaga i-count out ang sports. That's why, kahit kung sa sleep conference, kung dati pa nga medyo women in sport are already having problems participating, mas lalo ngayon sa COVID. And
kasi,
I don't know,
ang napansin ko din itong nakaraang taon, most of us who lacked activities, in one form or another, like sports, we gained something. We gained some unwanted extra pounds. Yun ang matindi. And even the kids in general, yung social, in social distancing, yung mga virtual na yan, in a way, meron ding sa tingin kong psychological effect yan aside from mental and social.
Definitely. So we look upon this conference, it's not, definitely we had to insert or include new normal aspects. And you will see from the program tracks that we develop, meron nga, kunyari, na nakaimbita po kami sa USA Volleyball So they will teach us safety considerations in playing indoor as well as beach volleyball. I have women sports leaders who will show you how they do virtual sport competitions. In isa nga duathlon from Cebu. Iba indoor rowing, isa nga Muay Thai, how to conduct a virtual martial arts. 'Di ba? So, meron din also sport careers and entrepreneurship kasi people don't think the sports
Correct.
is a serious industry. If you look at the Philippine standard industry classification, nandun kami nakatucked under arts, entertainment, and education. Where in fact,
Correct.
sport industry is so huge, it represents 1% of the global GDP. So hindi pwedeng,
And
oo, so just goes to
and
show that hindi in importansya ng sports, akala nila, ay laro lang yan. Ay hindi, no. It's good for education. It's actually a good economic multiplier if you know how to
definitely,
work it within that
even
industry. Hmm.
for example, let's take for example the likes of the United States. Sports business or sports marketing is a multi-billion industry.
Yes.
Let's consider that, right? But
Yes.
we haven't pried deeply into the aspect of, let's say, entrepreneurial engagement in different type of sports. Parang hindi ganong kalalim na nako-consider natin, hey, magandang pagkakitaan ito, no? Provided we do it right.
Yes, and there's another problem with that equation. Kasi on the other hand, is the consumer, the ones who are playing sports. We don't have a fantastic sporting culture like the US. So then how do
Yes.
we improve the sporting
How do we
culture
develop
such
that?
that, yes,
Exactly.
to develop that and therefore magkakaroon tayo talaga ng opportunity for business in sports. And you do that by incorporating physical activity, especially physical education, dun sa school curriculum. Alam nyo ba, I don't know with the K to 12, but definitely in the old curriculum, 20 minutes lang ang PE sa isang araw, sa isang linggo. The minimum to get the benefits is 120 minutes a week. A
Wow.
week. Ngayon, tinanong namin yung Japanese colleague namin kasi sa pagpapahanda ng sweep, nag-string yard din kami. O tinanong namin, Dr. Junko, gano karami ba ang PE minutes nyo sa isang linggo? Sabi niya, 200. Sabi ko, oh my gosh, magugulat kayo kung ilan sa amin. 200 minutes a week, ha? Siyempre, sinabi ko 20 minutes. Sabi ko, not good. See, so how can you perpetuate a culture like that? No, there are many ways to go about it, no? Of course, the school themselves have to embrace it. So I've seen schools in America na not only do the kids play, but the teachers play and the parents play. So it's a community effort. So not only nagiging healthy mga bata, pati mga magulang at mga teacher. So
Correct.
so the objective talaga of SWEEP is that if you believe in women and community empowerment through sports, please join. Because there's something that you will learn from this.
It has to be a collective endeavor, no? We should start at home within the family, in the school, and in the community in general. That's how people do it. In China, in Korea, in Japan, it's a total involvement of all. At tama ka, no? That's very surprising. 20 minutes in a week's time? Oh my God. That's so minimal.
It is minimal, but there are definitely a lot of ways to increase these minutes. It doesn't even have to be within the school time. I mean, in Visayas and Mindanao, they do it after. Okay nga sa Visayas Mindanao kasi the kids are active. Ngayon, syempre na with the COVID scenario, then how can we do it naman in a safe way? Yun naman din ang tinatakal din natin dyan sa conference na yan. Kasi you cannot deny it. It's here to stay. Who knows? 2022, 2023 pa tayo talaga babalik. And what do we do in the meantime? Wala. Hindi pwede po yun.
Well, and as I have said, Dina, no, hindi naman dapat naksaya yung isang taong nakaraan. Because that gives us so much space to try to rethink and relearn. Okay? Things that we might have not given enough priorities or preference like sports. Kasi sabi nga natin, a healthy mind, body, and spirit. Mental, madali yan eskwelahan, di ba? Spirit, madali rin yan. What about yun sa physical aspect? Hindi naman po pwedeng, kita mo yung mga bata, no? Ha? Wala nang social-social eh. Bawal lumabas din, nasa loob lang. Anong hawak lagi? Yung mga gadgets nila.
That's
So
true.
how do
That's
you
true.
develop that?
Yun
Even,
nga,
I mean,
it
even
really,
our own national sports, di ba? Arnis, makita mo, there's a sputtering of efforts that's being done despite it being our national sports.
so how do we encourage? Talaga we really have to
Correct.
educate
Kailangan
parents, we have to
massive.
educate teachers. The
Mhm.
school has to compel. Besides, it's good for the kid. It's good for the kid.
Correct.
Kailangan niya to, especially ngayon sa pandemya. Diba? I mean,
Mhm,
my
mhm.
goodness, the mental health issues are on the rise as well. So, can exercise help improve those feel good hormones and endorphins? At saka para laban din sa sakit.
So have you, okay, these are all thought-provoking ideas. But I believe you and your organization or your colleagues in the sports industry in general, might have taken some measures to sound off our local officialdom, no? Especially in the Department of Education, where something could be done in order to improve the curriculum in the total development of the kids, no? Particularly putting preferential attention to sports development, aside from mind and spirit. So, basically, what is sweep all about?
Okay,
Kasi
so
this is
now
supposed to
that,
be for the next 3 days. And
yes,
maybe,
yes.
well, yung mga nakikinig, okay, that after you explained it, definitely everyone would want to
Yes,
join it. How do they
yes,
join?
so,
What would they
so
expect for the next 3 days?
So there, it's an acronym. So SWEEP actually stands for Sport for Women's Empowerment and Employment Program. Now, why did I put employment? Kasi, syempre, now that you've developed this woman, you made her go into sports. Now, what are the careers out there?
Hmm.
Sport careers or sport entrepreneurship. Besides, not only do we want women and girls playing, we want women to assume leadership roles in either technical positions or
Yes.
managerial roles in sport
Mhm.
organizations. Yun din ang gusto natin kasi kailangan we have to show our role models. We need visibility if in order to make it normal. Hindi na tayo magtataka that there's a woman leader, especially as a woman sports leader. Huwag ka na magtaka. Huwag ka na magtaka na may women powerlifter in the guise of Hidilyn Diaz. Huwag ka na magtaka. There's a Marjeline Didal in
Mhm.
skateboarding. Those should be normal.
Mhm.
That's why you come, there's something bound for you, whether you are into research, because we have international speakers who will tell you about the trends and research methodologies for women in sports. Merong sport for community, hindi lang naman pang babae, pang PWD, pang Special Olympics.
Yes.
Meron din, of course, careers. And then we have our women panelists. One panel talk I'm really kind of proud of is championing the women in sport agenda, knowing that do we have the policies in place to reinforce or to enforce this? So I have a guest from the U.S. State Department. I have a guest from the Malaysia Sports Commission. She's a good friend of mine. Was the immediate past Malaysian Sports Commissioner. Nandyan si Mikey Cojuangco, the first Filipina and the first Filipino to assume a seat in the executive board of the International Olympic Committee. And she's a Venezuelan researcher she's involved in research in women and girls physical activity. So from their own agencies, makikita natin, okay, this is what they're doing to further the women in sport agenda. So, and I'm so proud because ang mag-opening at magre-react is no less than the Sports Commission, Women in Sports Chair, Commissioner Celia Kiram, PSC Commissioner Celia Kiram, who
Mhm.
has really taken the cudgels of improving the state of women in sports in the country. She has so many programs. Napakasipag na I'm so proud. We're so proud of her.
Okay. Now, how does one uh, participate or be a witness if they want to see, hey, what's up on the next 3 days? Paano sila makakasali dun
Uh-huh.
sa virtual conference natin?
So they could go to the Facebook site, sportphil.com. They could type sweep 2021 and may lalabas na registration page. So please register. and they get a certificate out of it. There's a small fee, but for the 3-day conference, it's really going to be worth it. At saka ang maganda po doon, we will also launch the best PE endemic program, best pandemic program, and we have several schools already showcasing the programs that they've done na despite the odds and the challenges of the pandemic, nakapag-fulfill po sila ng mga objectives for physical education para sa mga bata.
Despite the pandemic,
Of course,
that was done,
of
that
course.
was crafted.
Kaya nga kailangan talaga i-acknowledge eh. At natutuwa kami ito ay kinikilala ng Milo, and in fact is also lending their support for that, the best pandemic program. At saka yung women who win segment namin ay powered naman by PLDT Home Fiber.
So, should we say that this program of yours is really the first ever launch in the Philippines focusing on women in sports in general?
I would say yes. I would say yes because it's the first virtual one. We've done a physical one in the past, and I believe there have been some efforts before that. But this is the first virtual sport conference ever. So we are treading on new territory, new frontier. In fact, we really would like to provide the best experience for our participants kasi hindi lang ho ito Zoom. So we're doing StreamYard like this, right? Pero it will be embedded in a virtual conference hall. So when you say virtual conference hall, syempre, anong ginagawa natin sa conference? Diba? Tumitingin tayo ng konting exhibit, gusto natin mag-chika-chika with a network. Meron po yan. So maghanapan tayo dyan. Kung coach ka, coach ako, let's talk, let's network, look at the exhibits. And then, even if you missed certain episodes, because the platform will be on until December 31, you could still come back and watch those episodes until December 31. Pero syempre, nothing beats live. Pero, just in case you miss it, balikan mo na lang. So we also have entrepreneurs who...
Yes.
Yeah, we have also from Asian Esports Federation. What kinds of programs are they doing? Yes. Esports Federation. So they'll be there to also show anong mga programa nila for women in sports. How to improve participation.
And I cannot believe when I ran through the program itself. Did I get it right? That for 3 days, the participation fee is only 500 pesos?
Yes, yes. We had to be...
That's for 3 days?
Kasi sir, number one, of course, it's virtual. So, I guess the bulk
ang mura naman considering na you have 25 speakers, both local and international.
Yes.
And there are 40 organizations supporting this. Sabi ko, this is something that we shouldn't miss.
Yun nga, Alex, we have to be pandemic friendly. We had to syempre, before we started, we asked the teachers, so what do you think? Is this price okay? Kasi I hope people also realize that there are definitely expenses in putting this up. But we hope naman, we have to look at the higher mission naman also eh. Yung tama-tama.
Correct.
But and then hopefully dumami naman kayo, pumunta kayo, and then next year we can hold this again.
Well, kung ako kayo, no, let's say marketing any program, dapat hindi niya magiging problema yung crowd yan eh. Especially this is the first time, no? And this is of international significance, and being launched of the International Women's Month. Dapat maging mandatory. Let's say sabihin natin in college or in the high school level, considering na andun lang naman sa bahay mga estudyante kung ano-ano ginagawa niya. So why
to be
not
fair naman,
it?
Ito nga po Alex I mean, are we on the verge of another lockdown? Ito na naman tayo, 'di ba? Parang nakakalungkot na naman. Manood na lang kayo ng sweep. Punta na lang kayo sa sweep 2021. Magkita-kita na lang tayo doon, and let's revive our passion, reignite our passion for sports. That it's still possible even in a COVID world.
Yes. And me, for example, us among adults. Ang sabi nga natin, sabi ng iba, wow, nakaka-bore naman itong isang taon na ito. Walang masyadong magawa. Physically, yes, but not spiritually and mentally. For example, in our case, no, this gave me more time. Yung lagi ko sinasabi, no, learn, relearn, and unlearn things. Kasi, tingnan mo lang, halos yata majority ng mga free webinars, pindot ako ng pindot. Join na, join. Minsan nakakalimutan ko na yung iba. Because there's nothing like new learnings in the new normal. And new learnings is inexhaustible. Di ba? And that is one thing that should be relegated, no, to the youth of today. How could you look forward beyond the new normal if by now you just busy yourself in your gadgets, no? Hindi naman natin sasabing masagwayan, pero give time to sharpen your skills, to sharpen your knowledge, to discover that there is more than TikTok and any other thing that you normally do with your gadget. Di ba? Ngayon, katulad ng tinignan ko nga rito, in fact, what I did was to really write down what's happening on all of those. Like for example, no, among the speakers that you have, nakita ko rito yung isang popular na host, si Gretchen Ho, no? We will talk about the secrets.
Sorry, baka that's an old one.
Alin, which one?
Baka lumang program na tinitignan mo.
Iba to.
Oo. Baka iba yan. I have Akiko Thompson. I have Mikey Cohanco.
Yeah. Nakita ko rin. At saka itong kina Hidilin, di ba?
Hidilin will be there. Hidilin will be there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hidilin will be there. Pero I'd like to say, Alex, is that there are actually many, many movers and shakers in the women in sports world. And they are there. They might not be as known as those ladies I've mentioned, pero they've been doing great work. Kung pwede ko nga yayain lahat ng magagaling na babae dyan, sport leader, gagawin ko eh. It's just a lot. And we're so happy.
Okay.
We're so happy na umaangat na...
May isang napansin ako dito. Meron ka bang speaker who would capitalize on, let's say, promoting further our national sports, which is Arnis?
No.
Kasi yan ating national sports eh.
In fact, she was there was somebody who gave me that name. Nakalimutan ko na, and she's actually like a grandmaster and everything. I would love to have her. It's except that siguro sa kagapitan lang ng oras, I wasn't able to get her in time. I've heard, and she's wonderful and she's really good.
Actually, marami na tayong mga grandmasters sa Arnis. Ang inisip ko lang is this being an international virtual conference na kung naisingit natin yon, this is really one way of promoting Arnis, which is our national sports.
I totally agree. However, I have a moderator there called his name is Thorman Langit, and I believe he will put up a booth kasi he has this he's testing the performance of Arnis players, and I think it's a good project. Parang biomechanically ina-analyze niya yung mga movement ng Arnis. So hopefully you'll see it there.
And alam mo naman, yung mga katropa natin, magsimula na kina si Sir. Kahit na nasa sa ibang bansa yan, talagang continuously yung effort nila na yung ating Arnis tradition is not only being promoted here in the Philippines as a national sports, no? Kasi nakita ko din dito sa ating matayog na gym na marami ring mga foreigners na pupunta rito. And it has also paved the way, no? For our key players dito, katulad ni na Bambit, na labas-masok ng Pilipinas kung saan napunta, na kung saan pinapakinabangan din nila. So they also become sports, not only enthusiast, but sports entrepreneur, mentor. And yun ang nakikita ko. This is where we could probably start realigning our thoughts and marketing sports to the Filipinos in general. Kasi parang hindi masyadong nabibigyan ng significance eh. Di ba nung minsan napag-usapan natin yung ating gintong alay? Meron pa ba nun? Meron pa ba?
No.
Meron pa bang
That
counterpart
was,
nun to develop?
I think to be fair naman to Gintong Alay, at that time,
Mm.
there were around 18 sports. And of course, Michael Keon
Mm.
is very competent. And
Mm.
Michael, and probably one thing nice about him is that marunong siya. He knows sport science, he knows sport management, at sinasabi niya lagi nga sa mga tao niya, ang para sa atleta, ibigay sa atleta.
Correct, correct.
Parang napakasimpleng formula yun eh. Kasi kung ibigay mo naman sa atleta, yun tama lang. But look hindi naman kami binigyan ng lahat-lahat eh. Wala nga kaming allowance yung time na yun eh. But the thing is, kung anong meron at pwede ibigay sa atleta, di ibigay nyo.
Mm.
Oo, so we
bakit
had to
kapag
become
merong-
entrepreneurial.
Correct. Bakit kapag meron mga exigencies, nakatulad ngayon, bigla lumalabas-labas yung ating mga bilyon-bilyones na inlalabas ng pamahalaan na kung saan nanggagaling. Di ba? Bakit hindi dito? Kasi kung malakas ang ating immune system, if we have a good sports program, physical development program, then probably we will be less prone, no? Doon sa mga sakit ng katawan na kadahilanan sa wala tayong wala tayong oras para i-develop yung ating physical aspect.
Pero tama ka. I remember nung siguro kalagitnaan ng lockdown, sabi ko nga, baka pwede naman maglabas yung DOH, yung medyo physical activity. I think we're beyond the masks and shields already, right? So, can we show that physical activity can actually improve?
Oo nga.
Oo. So, I'm still looking for that. I'm still waiting for that. So, yeah.
Well, again, nagkaroon ba ng programa ang pamahalaan o private institution na yung sabi mo physical activity, imbis na nagtatalo-talo to vaccinate or not to vaccinate, at ang lagi tinitingnan tao, yung bang ilan ang naapekto nito daily, katulad nga ngayon, di ba? Ayan, magkakaroon naman ng lockdown. Pero, ano naman yung ginagawa ng pamahalaan upang sa ganoon talagang mapangalagaan from the house, no? From our home, yung kalusugan. Sana merong ganitong daily program man lamang, di ba? Anyway, virtual naman, na nagtuturo. Ito pagising sa umaga, di ba? Ito, exercise. Ano yung kakanin natin? Ito yung tamang pagkain. Kailan, ano yung bagay na sports? Para sa mga kabataan, para sa mga young adults, para dun sa mga senior entrepreneur. Sana merong ganong regular na program kasi kapag walang ganon, anong nangyayari? Maski sa kabataan, this ought to be sana a collective effort among the government, the private institution, and the NGOs na kung saan marami tayong kanabibilangan. Hindi. Para bang pagigising ko sa umaga, yung mga nababasa mong mga batikos dyan, yung mga programa, parang nagsisimula ang umaga mo, parang sira na ka. Gawa ng mga negatibo. Yung nangyayari. Mamaya, eto na naman. Yung tungkol sa nalalapit na eleksyon. Politika. Di ba? At itong pandemya na to, para bang nakakaduwak na samantalang, eto ikaw, meron kang ganitong programa to strengthen the mind, the body, and spirit. Ito dapat ang makita. Ito dapat ang gawin ng bawat Pilipino sa pagkagising man lamang, no? Yung kumanta tayo ng mag-exercise tayo tuwing umaga. Kasi how can you do all these things, no? How can you solve all these problems without being physically fit or at least having a regular daily physical regimen? Tama ba? It has to start from somewhere Dahil through you, Gina, at saka yung mga counterparts at sa tulong naming mga media, we can devise a scheme, no? Para maging regular yan.
Actually, in the 1990s, about 1996, President Ramos developed the Sport for All, which is the gist that you were talking about. Na ultimo nga, mangingisda, magsasaka, can have access to opportunities in sports. Diba kasi even magsasaka needs wellness, diba? They need to be fit and conditioned, diba?
Everyone.
They don't have to be,
Actually,
like
mas
competitive
physically fit nga sila
athletes.
sa atin Yung mga magsasaka at saka yung mga mangingisda, yun ang malakas ang katawan.
Actually, kung titignan nyo po yung mga batas in the past, actually even now, may mga batas naman tayo, but we just really lack enforcement. Now, every LGU has to have a sport and fitness council. Meron yan. But I can also count in my fingers how many are really actually doing it. Diba? Like Cebu and Davao, I think Davao del Norte are doing a good job. Of course, sa Ilocos, they're doing a good job. So, can everybody just do that? Really activate their sport and fitness council and not just keep it to basketball and beauty contest or something like
Correct. Alam mo ba yung
that.
ginagawa?
I'm just talking in general.
Yeah, but in general, itong mga makikita mong ginagawa you go inside this mga sabihin nating depressed area. Meron silang karsada nga nagiging basketball court eh. Bakit ang hindi? Nakalagay doon.
Yes.
Donated by so and so political figure. Syempre, araw-araw basketball ka yung recall noon, ang pindi, di ba? Puro, may basketball ka, pero ano talaga yung masasabi mong regimen o program initiated by the barangay or local government? Bibira Kung meron man, paminsan-minsan lang.
This is my suggestion. You have to build the space for it. Our parks and recreation, alam mo may ratio dapat yan sa isang municipal, di ba? What is the ratio of parks and recreation in a municipal? Ano nangyayari? We're crowding these spaces out. We have sidewalks. Ang liliit naman ng sidewalks. So, gaganahin ka bang maglakad? Diba? We need space. We have to create that physical design for us to also imbibe, physical fitness lifestyle. How can you do that? And you don't feel safe. Lalabas ka ba? Magbibisikleta ka ba? If you don't feel safe? So, in fact, I don't want to preempt, I want to talk to one of our premier architects to at least design a community sports center. In Japan, there are community sports centers in many prefectures na hindi lang basketball. Kasi sa atin, our community sports centers that basketball court. But let me tell you that in other countries like Europe, even the US, yan basketball court, yan maraming lines. If I'm not mistaken, black lines for the basketball, green for badminton, in that one court. If we have 40-something thousand basketball courts, dagdagan mo lang ng linya. So visually, the kid could see na, teka mo, may iba pa palang sport, hindi lang basketball. Subukan ko kayo badminton, subukan ko volleyball. So there are many things that you can do. It's hard to just mag-exercise ka. Can government help in creating that atmosphere to encourage also parks and recreation and community sports centers, aside from having a curriculum that would have or ensure at least 120 minutes of physical activity a week?
Correct. Well, for example, in other countries, they're already doing that. I was just trying to imagine, bakit dito hindi? Halimbawa, the likes of China, Japan, ganyan, whether you're an employee, halimbawa, alas 8, okay, you will be required to report as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. Kung gugustuhin naman po, pwede yun, di ba? For at least another 15 minutes or 20 minutes of exercise before you report for work. Ganun din sa eskwelahan. A few minutes before na mag-bang, papasok sa eskwelahan, nag-exercise na. I remember before, nung ako nag-apply nag-training ako sa detailman, doon sa high ASI, tingin ko nga nung una, corny Pag umaga, bago magsimula, may exercise talaga kami. High ASI is Japanese, di ba? So if they can do it here, why not doon din, di ba? Kasi malimit sa atin, lulugo-lugo, lalo na kung ikaw kung puyat
So perhaps the government can start, mga government offices.
Yes. Of course. And this is really one time to pull our efforts together to do what is right. Kasi talaga tayo mga Pinoy, minsan kinakailangan natin sundutin para tayo magising. Pero pag nagising naman tayo, masisipag naman tayo At I look at this pandemic as the time, to reopen our minds, to review all the things that we've done in the past, and see how can we collaborate, from among the government, the private NGOs, towards a more healthy environment. Yun ang pinaka-importante. Dapat natuto na tayo sa pangyayaring ito.
Yes.
Correct?
And I
Yeah.
believe, we're really also looking for leaders who believe the believe in the importance of sports.
Di
Malaking
ba rin,
bagay yan.
malapit na
So,
eleksyon. Baka pa natin yung mga may ganong agenda. Anyway, come on, bilis nga ng oras. I'll give you the closing remarks. Maybe it's high time that since you initiated this, come up with a clarion call. The government or other organizations to really honestly consider the development of sports in whatever form.
all I
Your
can
call.
say is, if you want to see a better Philippine sports, it starts with yourself as well. Diba? You should be the one to also practice it. You should encourage your
Correct.
children to be in it. You should patronize companies who sponsor sports. You have to demand, perhaps, from your school to increase the physical activity. Maybe demand also from your demand. It's a hard word, no? To influence the local government to have more activities virtually or what. So it starts with us. So kung naniniwala po
Yes.
kayo, umpisahan nyo with yourself. And kung
Mhm.
pumunta kayo sa sweep, marami kayong makukuhang idea.
So once again, invite them on sa sweep program mo. This will be from the 24th up to the 26th.
Yes, maraming salamat, Alex. So,
Next week na yun.
mga kababayan, magkaka-lockdown na naman. Maybe you can find inspiration in Sweep 2021. Join us,
Correct.
please. March 24 to 26. So, register early kasi ayaw na natin magkakumpul-kumpul yung mga registrants pagdating ng panahon. Pero be
Correct,
there.
correct.
You'll find something. I am so sure. You'll be inspired.
Okay. So thank you very much, Dina. So once again, our sports icon, our sports idol, thank you for giving us this time. And I really commend you so much for this first ever virtual, international sports conference na to. We really need more of this, okay?
Yeah,
So,
galing sa mga hugot ko yan. Mga hugot ko.
yes.
Diba?
And,
if we think that we can make a change, so let's see.
yes, of
Let's
course.
try.
Of course.
Let's try.
Mm-hmm. We can change for the better. Okay? Diba? We cannot be complacent. So maraming salamat, no? Hindi po uli ito ang una't huli.
Hindi pa
Marami
rin.
pa tayong pagsasamahan, Dina. Marami pa tayong dapat pag-usapan. We should be a great influencer in our society. No? Kaya mo na yung mga politiko, tayo na lamang na nasa NGOs at saka private sector should spearhead this kind of organization. So sa lahat po ng mga viewers natin dito sa ating lingguang palatuntunang Senor Entrepreneur, always make it a habit. Every Sunday, 5 o'clock, be a part of us. Kasi marami po at mga natatangi yung mga kinukumbida natin panauhin tulad ni Dina. Sabi nga nila so good, ayos na ang kasunod. Okay, maraming salamat po. Ito po ang inyong host, Alex Flores po lamang. Magandang hapong pumuli sa inyong lahat.
Hala?